What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another just get to the point info segment for our No Fear home buying team. My name is Rick Thomas, licensed real estate appraiser, 20 years in the valuation game, coming at you with insider tips and tricks for proper valuation of real estate, arming you with the tools and knowledge necessary to execute a real estate transaction with boldness, confidence, and with no fear. Okay, so my goal is to see you become a more informed home buyer. I'm not a licensed real estate agent, so I'm not trying to sell anyone a home. And as an appraiser, when you go to borrow money from a bank or lender, even if you wanted to, they won't let you hire me. I just love real estate markets, figuring out how they work, coming up with a value, and I'm more than happy to share that information with anyone that's curious. My goal is to arm you with the tools and knowledge to ensure you don't overpay for a home, and if the market's willing, that you can spot a great deal when you see one. So, if you haven't made an official offer on a home yet, then yes, of course, you're in phase one, finding the right home. And I've got little doubt that you've either written down, or at the very least kept in the back of your head, an itemized list of your expectations for your future home, your screening list. This powerful tool allows you to separate homes that don't meet your criteria for certain things like how much you're willing to spend, where is the home located, how large of a home. Everyone's screening list will be unique to their own specific needs, desires, and financial capabilities. The nicety of the internet with its powerful search engines is that it makes for screening to be easy. However, I'd like to point your attention to another opportunity to use the internet to screen for things outside of your screening list. We want to do this because there are things outside of a property that can affect its value. It wouldn't be right to say that you or everyone is like this. But in my experience, most people looking for a home get tunnel vision. Instead of just looking at what features a house has to offer, I would encourage you to expand your screening list to include features outside of the home. External influences or external obsolescence are some of the many things to consider when looking for a home. But to be fair, if you're new to all this, then going down the academic rabbit hole with technical terms like these during some quick tip segment doesn't make sense. All we need to know about external influence for now is it's something outside of the property, and that something can have a positive, neutral, or negative effect on value. Now, to give an example of how this segment's tip can help you, I'm going to share with you a recent screening I made for an investment property I was looking to buy. With my analysis on that neighborhood, I identified positive external influences that added value to a home, and I screened only for homes with those influences in mind. In this case, the positive elements were close proximity to schools, shopping, and easy access to freeways. Makes sense, right? Schools, shopping, easy access to freeways, all things outside of a property line. And in this case, the influences were positive, and people were willing to spend more money to have those influences closer to them. Now here's the thing. Just because an external influence is positive in one housing market doesn't mean that that same influence will be positive in every other market. For example, easy access to freeways was a positive influence in the market I was shopping. However, if a home's market is in some isolated area where the closest freeway is over 50 miles away, then obviously easy access to freeways doesn't apply. It's much like someone shopping for a home in a neighborhood that's mostly retired people. Close proximity to schools is not likely to be a value-enhancing influence. Now, an important thing to remember about external influences is it's the individual market that decides what's positive and what's a negative influence. In other words, buyers in your market decide what's positive, adding value to a home, and what's a negative influence, bringing its value down. And they do this by collectively casting their votes with the prices they're willing to pay. This is important because you can go into buying a home thinking that some influence will add value to your home, and the market may have something else in mind, and you've just overpaid for a home. Solid research and analysis will help you to identify what's positive and what's negative in the very specific neighborhood that you're shopping for a home in. and I intend on sharing with you how to do this. And if you really want to dig deep, I'm also willing to share with you how to measure a market, allowing you to identify a specific dollar amount for a specific influence. But for now, back to this investment property. After applying my screening list, I narrowed down my search to 6 different properties. One particular property caught my eye with an asking price that was around 12%, 12.5% below all the other asking prices. This quick tip coming up saved me valuable time, and it allowed for me to spot a negative external influence that wasn't identified in the home's online advertisement. Your first stop after finding a home online is Google Maps. Now, I'm more than positive that telling you to use Google Maps to see images of some home you just found online isn't some miraculous new idea. But I would encourage you to not only look at the home, but to also widen the view on Google Maps once you've identified in the neighborhood what's a positive and what's a negative external influence. You can use Google Maps to quickly and easily identify them. In this case, a little running around the neighborhood revealed a high-tension power line within 75 feet. The home was in the direct fall line. Not only was this an unpleasant sight from the backyard, it was a safety concern. The seller of the home, or more likely the real estate agent involved, knew that this was a negative influence and that a willing buyer would expect a discount on price. But that's not always the case. You need to know that in some instances, when there are supply and demand issues in a particular housing market, homes with negative influences can sell for prices that are similar to homes that don't suffer from that influence. And this can be misleading because it may suggest to you that something isn't negative. But when the supply and demand issues correct themselves and the market stabilizes, these negative influences usually kick back in and a home can have a sudden and noticeable loss in value. I don't want this or similar situations to happen to you. My name's Rick Thomas, real estate appraiser, and I'm here to share with you what I know about real estate value, sending you on your way boldly, confidently, and fearlessly to buying a home.